Previously on Socktown.
Get a little zoom in so you can see what's going on at night here. It's dark. We got some paths with lights on them for people, but these campsites are dark as intended, as it is when you are camping. These RVs have some good lighting in them because those people apparently haven't gone to bed yet.
What's up, everyone? Sock's Way Up is back, and we're going to go over our plan for this episode first using the CSL map view. Kind of see our city so far. Over here's our little camping area. We got to get rid of the bus line. That's not going to work. And we sprinkled in a couple episodes ago our high density around here, and some, we sprinkled in throughout some of our neighborhood areas as well. Today's focus is going to be on, we're going to add some freeway entrances or exits from over here and here. And in this area, right by this river, we're going to build a university using campus DLC style universities, and let's do it. All right, before we actually build it, I wanted to give you a view of the city itself in game so you can see the area and see kind of how close this is to this interchange. As I look at it right now, I'm thinking eventually we might want to turn this into just a normal two highway interchange instead of it kind of looking like it's four highways that come together. I think it would be cleaner eventually if it kind of just snuck through here and had just a normal interchange. So this, you can see we're going to utilize this river. There'll probably be a freeway exit around this area, and then back here we already have this kind of freeway exit that we'll probably take advantage of and change it up a little bit, because I don't think that'll be efficient once you actually have traffic using it. Never really seen a highway work that way, but some of this area here is going to get ruined. The custom map that the guy who made the custom map, or gal, I'm not sure, this is pretty neat looking stuff here, but it's not going to work for where we're taking the city, so let's get going.
So the first thing we're going to tackle here is getting some access off the freeway. This is going to be the first area we build in this college or university area. So I'm using one of the pre-made custom assets that I found on the asset store. I don't remember the name of this asset. It's a pretty good off-ramp. Sometimes I have to tweak it a little bit, make sure the traffic doesn't go straight, but it looked like right now it did have left, right, and then straight as well in both lanes. Later on we'll tweak that and not allow people to just come off the freeway and go back on the freeway. All that does is mess with the traffic. But here we're adding in a main avenue and a secondary street there that the university is going to land on. Of course, we're going to have to paint the area where we want the campus to go and get our main building laid down here next. So the inspiration for this came from Gonzaga University. If you know what it looks like there, you might see some things that look familiar. I really just looked at Google Maps at that university because I liked the entrance. And then after that, I closed it because I didn't want to be like for like. I just wanted to get an idea of what a real university layout was like, because every time I've built one of these since this expansion came out or this DLC came out, I felt like I was lost. I never really did research on what real universities look like. I've been to a few, but only on ground level. I've never taken that, global or aerial view of it, and it gave me some inspiration. So that's where it came from. So we got this quick little roundabout for people to come in, and then I'm playing around with the rules of the DLC at this point. I wanted to put the main building on a path, but it doesn't let you do that, unfortunately. So here we start building a little bit of a design of the way the buildings are going to end up being laid out, and you'll see that in a little bit, but I wanted to get the main flow of traffic and the main flow of students into the college first. And here we're cleaning up some of the trees because we don't want those default trees in there. So this area is going to be like where all the students hang out when they're not in class. And I tried to make a roundabout here, and I quickly realized that you couldn't do it from the center of the main building of the campus, and that really frustrated me. So I decided I was going to try to move it. You can see here, yeah, I'm building up some roads and I want to use move it to get to the center. It doesn't allow me to, so then I just, force it with move it, and it doesn't look good. So I wasn't satisfied with that, so I decided, you know what, let's just add a secondary little path here. Later on, we can decorate the gap in there, and I think it kind of looks nice. So that's what we went with. So students are going to come off of this, and we wanted to build kind of a roundabout with paths, and in this process, I realized paths do not create perfect circles as well as roads. So I'm going to struggle with it for a while until I get it close enough to the way I like it. I even tried doing the old create the intersection, build the path around it, and for whatever reason, I couldn't get the sizes to line up perfect. So I gave it a good few goes, and the guidelines seemed to line up, but it still just didn't look good. And, using move it to align it, I still struggled with that. It didn't turn out the way I wanted to. So we kept, instead of settling for it, we kept going. And here I wanted to build kind of a centerpiece of the campus by adding a statue there. I don't want it to be on a road or a path. I want it to be in the center. So my thought here was, well, let's build this path around it and see how that goes. And again, it doesn't look perfect. So we struggled with that a little bit and decided we're not settling. No more settling. Not in this city anymore. So we try one more time. It's like 4 out that time. So we're like, oh, no, let's go 2 each direction. And we did. We went 2 each direction and then used the curve tool to make a circle. And it still was not perfect. I have no idea what's going on with these paths. So we decided let's just do 2 and 2 and give it another shot. A good college try. Is that what they say? But eventually we decided, you know what, let's just live with it. And it ended up looking fine, especially once we start detailing it later on. Added in some trees in the middle. Didn't want to block the statue, but I did add bushes below it to make it look full in that area. So at this point, we wanted to add the groundkeeper building, and I wanted to attach that close to the main building because I feel like that makes sense to me. I could, in other builds, I've hid it away so that's not, causing any traffic or people don't see it because it's the groundskeeper who wants to see that. But this one I was like, let's make it close to the building, the main building of the campus, and just leave it like that. So now it's time to expand the college. Of course, I'm playing without everything unlocked, so I'm only going to have the level 1 assets unlocked at this point, which kind of handcuffs you a little bit, but you have to think about it how you want the campus to look long term and not go overboard. So we're just going to build out a small section at first. Here we're adding in these little study clubs. I like to think of them as like sorority houses, and they're just smack dab right in the middle of campus. We get that going and extending out these paths, and we're going to use move it to blend them into the road a little bit better. And we got kind of a oblong diamond shape going on here. So we threw a dormitory on that side, and over here we're going to add the study hall. And that's pretty much the only buildings we have unlocked at this point. So that's going to give us a good start. And, oh, that's right, we also added the police academy, which I think looks really good right there. We're going to add some more commercial later on around this area, and maybe some low density residential, as some, older students that don't live in the dorms anymore, they actually have their own residence that they're renting instead of living in the mass dorms. Kind of matches what we see at universities. So here we keep going. We're building the structure. Changed the school name to Socktown College, and we're going to work on one of the academic works. The first one that we're going to do is the IT one because I work in software, so it made sense to me. So we extended the road to the other side of the river because I do want this campus to spread on both sides of the river. I think that'll be really nice. And to start with, we're just adding our basketball arena. As this college or university grows, we'll build more facilities out here. I flirted with the idea of adding the swim meet building as well, but we decided not to. And of course, like every other area that's going to drive a lot of traffic, we're added some parking lot roads, and I think that made sense. This is a smaller university, so we don't need a huge parking structure for them. This next part I played around with adding some pavement around. It doesn't really lay down perfect, and as I kept going I realized I was putting trees on pavement, and I decided I liked the way the buildings naturally looked right next to it. We can decorate it, make it look a little bit better later on, but that's what we're going with for now. And like I mentioned, you don't need a lot of parking for a small university. As this gets bigger, maybe we'll use one of these custom assets that is a parking garage, which I have done in the past, and it turned out really nice. But here we's playing around with the parking lot or parking spaces, and we wanted to get those laid down so that we could force people to park here if there's a basketball game while we're still building during this episode. And you can see there's already cars coming in. It looks like they're just some excited citizens checking out the area and wanting to see the new buildings. But a good amount of traffic already in that area, so we get back to the important part of this build, in my opinion. I start adding the details. And here in this main little stretch, I added some of these food cart type things for the students to, when they're walking around, they don't have to leave the campus. If they don't have enough time between classes, they can actually just stop at one of these food carts and be set for the day. At this point, we start the detailing. I'm adding in some of these trees that have color to them and add more pop to the area and give it a nice look and feel that's not just wide open space. I spent a lot more time detailing this area than I have any other area so far, and I'm really starting to fall in love with the detailing process. This is the first time I'm really using the bushes in mass quantity, and I think it turned out good. So the idea here was I wanted these paths to make sense when we're done detailing. I didn't want to just have this path design that we're using because we wanted to use it. Instead, I wanted it to look like there was a reason why we built these paths around what we're going to put down next, which are some large boulders. And there you go. And I think that looks really cool as you designed this campus around these cool boulders, these rocks, and it gives just the students something more to look at. It just adds character to this part of the university, and it doesn't look like you just built paths around. You're just like, hey, there's these boulders, let's keep them. Let's design our school around them so it still looks natural, because we are a university and we're gonna focus on nature here because that's part of the teaching, I guess. I don't know, I just made that up. But again, some more trees, some more detailing. Gotta keep it going. We want to make this thing look complete, at least the areas that we've built so far. And as you can see, I'm not gonna add any more buildings in this area that I've built. We're gonna keep expanding the college and the university as we go. But we wanted to add more details, more texture to this area as well. Again, to make it look complete. I don't want to leave things half done anymore. If we had levels 2, level 3, level 4, level 5 opened up, we probably would have laid down more buildings, but in this episode I wanted to focus on just getting the university started, and eventually we'll come back to it, maybe next episode, maybe a few episodes down the line. We'll extend it, we'll have it grow with the city, and we're going to keep growing until we get to level 4, level 5. I think it's level 4 that it maxes out on, but the other idea that I have for this city is it's going to be a large multi-city build when we get done with it. There's going to be different areas that are kind of tiny towns or tiny cities in themselves. And eventually when we unlock the other types of universities, we're going to create a rival university to this one. So it's kind of like an inner city rivalry like you have. And if you look at Gonzaga, you actually have, I think it's Washington State University that's across the river from it. And that was kind of some of my inspiration for that thought process, as well as you do have these smaller towns that have multiple universities in them that are somewhat close to each other and create a rivalry. So here's the last little bit of detailing we did. We filled this in with some of these trees and added some color, and I think it really made our first stab at our university complete. All right, phase 1 of Socktown College is complete, and I think it went good. I like the detail that we put into it. I like the fact that I spent more time than I would normally detailing, at least since I've been making these videos. And if you've seen my last video about keeping YouTube fun, that's my focus right now. I want to enjoy it when I'm playing the games. I'm not trying to just finish a video and get it out. I'm actually putting thought into it like I used to before I was making videos, trying to make these look complete, trying to make them look up to where I want them to be, and be satisfied with it, so I can look at this video years from now and be like, that was so much fun when I built that. I remember spending time putting some character into the build and enjoying the process along the way. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some ideas maybe for your city, and I hope you come back and check out where this town goes when we get it done. I'm excited about it. Thank you for joining, and I'll catch you on the next episode of Socktown.